Imagine doing everything right, building your career, staying out of drama, being a solid guy, and still feeling like you're invisible in the dating market. Meanwhile, you watch women bend over backwards for guys who bring absolutely nothing to the table. And then, a few years later, those same women are looking around, confused, asking where all the good men went. There's a massive blind spot in modern dating, and most men don't realize how the game is actually structured until they're already burned out.
Yeah, it's a brutal realization for a lot of guys.
Oh, absolutely.
We see men coming into this space completely exhausted, right? Because they operated on this script that just hasn't matched reality for at least a decade, maybe longer.
Right, like the old just get a good job and be nice script.
Exactly. But what's really fascinating here isn't just the frustration. I mean, the frustration is real, but it's the underlying mechanics of why this is happening.
Yeah.
When we actually look at the behavioral patterns, this isn't just random bad luck for these guys.
Right, it's systemic.
Yeah, it's deeply structural. There is this almost predictable disconnect between what people say they want in relationships and what their nervous systems actually literally respond to.
And I really want to dig into that disconnect right away because, the common narrative out there, if you look anywhere online, is that men are just failing to step up.
Oh, yeah. That's the favorite talking point.
Right, but when you actually look at the landscape, it's not that highly capable, successful men are failing. It's that they are looking at the board, running the risk-reward calculation, and actively choosing not to play.
They're just opting out.
They're opting out. But, before a guy even reaches that point of walking away, he usually has to run through this absolute gauntlet of psychological illusions.
And the most pervasive illusion right now, the one we see constantly, is what we might call the top-tier entitlement paradox.
Okay.
We see this heavily documented in dating app analytics,
Right.
And just observing modern young professionals. It starts with this baseline assumption. If a woman is young, attractive, and, maybe reasonably successful, the market simply owes her a top-tier man.
Right, like it's a guarantee.
Exactly, a man who will just swoop in and accommodate her entire lifestyle.
I was actually reading through some case studies on this recently, and there was this one scenario that it perfectly encapsulates this mindset.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, the 24-year-old. So it was an analysis of a 24-year-old woman, objectively attractive, working 2 jobs, clearly hustling, right?
Yeah.
But her internal monologue, her core belief system, was steeped in this profound resentment. Her stance was basically, I have a pretty face, I'm fit, I don't have baggage. Why am I still working 2 jobs? Why hasn't a high-value man swooped in to fund my lifestyle?
Which is wild.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But that mindset is incredibly common, and it's rooted in a total misunderstanding of how dating economics actually work. Sociologists often discuss this concept called hypergamy,
Right.
which is essentially the instinctual drive to partner with someone of equal or greater status.
Yeah.
For a long time, women leveraged their youth and physical attractiveness to secure resources and stability from men. That's ancient. It's evolutionary software.
Right, it's hardwired.
But here is where the modern hardware crashes. As women become more successful themselves, they don't relax those standards. They actually compound them.
Right, they scale up. So, if she's making $80,000 a year, she suddenly feels she needs a man making $200,000.
Exactly. She won't date the guy making $80,000. She views him as beneath her now.
Even though he's technically her equal.
Right. But let's look at the math of that for a second. She wants someone who out-earns her, who is taller, better educated, more socially dominant. But as she climbs that socioeconomic ladder, the pool of men who actually meet those criteria shrinks dramatically.
The math just doesn't work.
It really doesn't. And the men who do occupy that ultra-elite tier, the guys checking every single box on her 50-point list, they are operating in a completely different reality than she thinks they are.
And that reality clash is what causes the friction. You see this phenomenon on those highly exclusive, gated dating apps.
Oh yeah, the uncuffed ones.
Right, the ones where they literally verify your LinkedIn, your income bracket, your social circle before you can even swipe.
Yeah, it's basically a credit check for romance.
Seriously. So a woman gets on this app, and she matches with the mythical guy. He's tall, he's a VP at a tech firm, he's in great shape. She thinks she's won the lottery. But within a week, she's complaining to all her friends that this guy is a complete, unmitigated narcissist.
Oh, she calls him a straight-up asshole.
A straight-up asshole.
We really need to pause and define what is actually happening when that word gets thrown around in this specific context. Because, I mean, if we look at the behavioral patterns in these scenarios, he didn't verbally abuse her. He didn't treat her with malice.
Let me jump in and play devil's advocate for a second, though.
Go for it.
Because I can hear people listening to this and saying, well, if a woman is bringing the total package to the table, she's beautiful, she has her own career, she's highly independent, isn't it reasonable for her to expect a guy to treat her like a prize? If she's at the top of the market, shouldn't she expect a man to bend over backwards to secure her commitment?
See, that sounds completely logical on the surface, but it completely ignores the fundamental mechanics of leverage.
How so?
Think about it like a major Hollywood casting call, right? When you are casting an unknown actor, they will jump through burning hoops to get the part. They'll show up early, read lines, whatever you want.
Right, because they need the gig.
Exactly. But when a studio wants an A-list box office superstar, that actor doesn't sit in a crowded waiting room reading lines. The studio pitches him.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So a man who spent 15 years grinding, building wealth, physical fitness, high social status, he has an explosion of options. He doesn't have to perform for anyone.
Because he already built the movie studio.
Precisely. So when this woman enters his orbit, she expects him to act like a guy who just got incredibly lucky to be on a date with her. She wants the 1% man, but she expects the behavioral desperation of a man with zero options.
Yeah, that's a massive contradiction.
It is. But this top-tier guy, he holds his frame, he communicates, whether explicitly or implicitly, look, I have a great life, you are welcome to join it and add value to it, but I'm not going to alter my entire program to chase you.
I see what you're saying. So her labeling him an asshole is actually just a defense mechanism. She's encountering a man whose boundaries are stronger than her entitlement.
It's pure cognitive dissonance. Her worldview says her beauty and success should command absolute deference from him.
Right.
But his reality says his status commands alignment from her. When he refuses to compromise his lifestyle to cater to her whims, she interprets his firm boundaries and his unshakable confidence as toxicity. She literally cannot process that she is the one who is supposed to adapt to his world.
It's like demanding a custom remodel on a house you haven't even bought yet and then getting furious when the owner tells you no.
That's a perfect analogy.
But since these top-tier men are refusing to play the dancing monkey, society has created this massive counter-narrative to try and shame men back into performing.
Oh, absolutely.
Which leads us directly into what we see heavily pushed in pop psychology right now, which is the absolute myth of peacocking.
Yes. This is one of the most destructive pieces of advice out there for men. It's this pervasive idea that a man must constantly prove his worth through relentless pursuit and flashy displays.
Right, much like a male bird in the wild putting on a show to secure a mate.
Exactly. You see this argument weaponized everywhere. People will say, look at nature. The male has to fluff his feathers, build the elaborate nest, do a literal dance to impress the female.
The Discovery Channel argument.
Right. Therefore, if a human man doesn't pursue a woman relentlessly, if he doesn't plan extravagant dates right out of the gate and jump through her conversational hoops, it means he lacks confidence.
And the modern psychological spin on this is even more insidious, I think. They claim that if a guy isn't constantly validating her, he must be deeply insecure, and he's purposefully withholding affection to drag her self-esteem down.
Which is a complete misreading of both human sociology and genuine confidence.
Totally.
For a long time, the dating advice industry leaned heavily into this performative model. I mean, think back to the early 2000s. Men were taught to use gimmicks, wear loud clothing, memorize specific scripts.
Whole pickup artist era.
Exactly. Essentially trying to hack a woman's psychology just to get her attention.
Yeah.
But what happens mechanically when a man does that? He actually lowers his own status.
Because he's trying too hard.
Yes.
Yes.
In human social dynamics, stillness and selective attention are markers of high value, not frantic motion.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're constantly performing, you are implicitly telling her, hey, my baseline self isn't enough, so I have to put on this whole show for you. And women pick up on that immediately.
They have a sixth sense for it.
Right. They might enjoy the free entertainment, but they don't respect the entertainer.
They absolutely look down on them. Because genuine confidence isn't about how loudly you can project your presence. It's about how comfortable you are in your own silence.
But wait, let me ask you this. Because if a guy just stands there and doesn't show any interest, doesn't he just come off as aloof and weird? Like, how does he actually bridge the gap without performing?
That's the golden question. There's a massive difference between being socially calibrated and being a dancing monkey.
Right.
Social calibration means confident guy is just sharing his reality. If she doesn't want to join him, he is entirely unbothered.
I see guys struggle with that balance constantly. They swing from being overly aggressive pursuers to totally passive and bitter.
It's a pendulum swing.
It really is. And honestly, this is where having a real framework helps. If someone wants a more structured roadmap for approaching and communicating naturally, that's actually something stealth attraction does well. It gives guys a step-by-step framework instead of leaving them to guess or do stupid parlor tricks.
Yeah, structure is incredibly useful because it removes the anxiety that causes men to overperform in the first place. When you know the mechanics of how an interaction should flow, you don't have to panic and start peacocking. You just follow the roadmap.
Right.
And when a man does this, when he refuses to jump through the manufactured hoops, it totally short-circuits the modern dating script.
Because the free attention supply gets cut off.
Precisely.
Yeah.
If she is used to 50 guys in her DMs, constantly validating her, offering to take her to dinner, and she meets a guy who says, "Hey, I'm grabbing a coffee on Tuesday, you're welcome to join," and then he doesn't double text her when she plays games,
Her ego cannot handle it.
it shatters.
So rather than self-reflecting and asking, am I actually offering enough value to warrant this guy's pursuit? She projects.
It is entirely psychological self-preservation. It is much easier for her to tell her friends, "Oh, he's just intimidated by my career," or, my favorite, "He has an avoidant attachment style."
Oh man, everybody has an avoidant attachment style now.
Right. It's much easier to say that than to admit, "He just didn't find my personality compelling enough to chase." The reality is, a man's willingness to walk away, to say, "I am perfectly fine whether you are in my life or not," is the absolute zenith of male confidence.
Which raises a really fascinating, somewhat dark question, I think.
Good.
If the highly capable, confident men are setting boundaries and refusing to perform, and the women are rejecting them for being assholes or insecure, who are these women actually giving their time and energy to during their prime dating years?
This is where we have to look at the divergence between biological attraction and economic security.
Yeah.
And honestly, it explains a phenomenon that drives most hardworking men absolutely insane.
You are talking about the infamous 2K player versus the provider trap.
Yes, exactly.
Because we look at self-reported data and anecdotes from women constantly, and there's a very specific archetype that emerges. You'll have a woman openly admit that her physical type, the guy who gives her the actual butterflies and gets her heart racing, is the hyper-athletic, heavily tattooed bad boy. Let's call him the 2K player.
Okay, the 2K player.
But in the exact same breath, she will outline how miserable it is to actually date this guy.
Because his behavioral profile is usually a complete disaster.
Exactly. She admits he smokes all day, plays NBA 2K on the couch for 6 hours, peaked in high school, and couldn't hold a conversation about a mortgage or an investment account if his life depended on it.
And yet,
She will spend 4, 5, maybe 6 years of her 20s tied to this guy, putting up with his inconsistencies, his cheating, his total lack of ambition.
and we really have to understand the biological mechanism driving that. Because in a woman's early 20s, her mate selection is heavily dictated by raw, unregulated physiological arousal.
Okay, unpack that.
So, sociologists and evolutionary psychologists refer to markers of dark triad traits, things like unpredictability, slight aggression, extreme social dominance, as highly stimulating to the female nervous system.
Wow.
The 2K player triggers an anxiety response that feels indistinguishable from passion.
It's the variable ratio schedule of reinforcement.
Exactly.
It's the exact same psychological mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Because he is unpredictable, because she never knows if he's going to be incredibly charming or just completely ignore her text for 2 days, she gets addicted to the dopamine spikes of his validation.
That is exactly the mechanism. He doesn't need to provide a 401k or a stable home environment because he is hacking her biological software in the short term.
Right.
But this creates a massive long-term problem. Sometimes it's referred to in behavioral circles as the shifting of the arousal baseline.
What does that mean in practice?
Well, if a woman spends her most formative dating years experiencing love as this chaotic, high-anxiety roller coaster, a stable, healthy relationship is going to feel physiologically boring to her.
I have to pause you there because this is the exact point where I see guys throw their hands up in pure frustration.
Oh, I hear it every day.
Think about the listener who is doing everything society asked of him, right? While the 2K player was skipping class and throwing basement parties, our guy was in the library. He was building his career, maintaining a good credit score, going to the gym, staying out of trouble.
Right. Doing the right thing.
Doing everything right. And for all of his 20s, he was completely invisible. He gets zero attention. Meanwhile, the guy who brings absolutely zero tangible value to the world gets her prime years, her enthusiasm, and her raw physical desire with zero effort. It just feels fundamentally unfair.
I understand the frustration. I really do.
Yeah.
But framing it as fair or unfair is the wrong lens to view this through.
How so?
It's simply two different selection metrics operating on two completely different timelines. The 2K player is winning the short-term biological game. The guy in the library is preparing for the long-term economic game. The danger arises when the biological timeline runs out and the economic timeline begins.
Because eventually she hits what she calls a grown age.
Exactly.
The dopamine hits stop masking the chaos. She gets tired of the 2K player being broke or finding out he's talking to 3 other women. The market just beats her down and she pivots.
And this is where the provider trap springs. Suddenly, her stated preferences undergo a radical shift. Now, she decides she wants an intellectual. She wants a man who doesn't drink or do drugs, who stimulates her mind, who can communicate effectively, and most importantly, who can support her goals and provide stability.
But the brutal truth, and many will actually admit this if you press them, is that she is not viscerally, physically attracted to that stable guy.
No, she is attracted to the utility of that guy.
Right.
She is attracted to the peace of mind he offers. She wants the guy she completely ignored 5 years ago to step in, pay off her accumulated debt, and fund the lifestyle she feels she deserves now.
You hear this couched in modern therapy speak all the time right now. I need a man to provide so I can finally rest and step into my feminine energy.
It's a complete rebranding of gold digging.
Seriously. She expects the stable guy to work 10 times harder than the 2K player ever did, to carry the entire financial and emotional burden of the relationship, just to get access to a woman who isn't even genuinely burning with desire for him.
And that is a mathematically terrible deal for the man.
Right.
You cannot negotiate genuine desire. You cannot buy visceral attraction with a mortgage and a good credit score.
You just can't.
Even if he does everything right, he pays the bills, buys the nice house in the suburbs, there is a high statistical probability that on some quiet Tuesday afternoon, she is going to be staring out the window, missing the raw, unpredictable thrill of the man who treated her poorly.
And men are finally waking up to this reality. They look at the terms of the contract and say, wait, let me get this straight. I get the older, more jaded version of you. I have to pay for everything. And I don't even get the enthusiastic intimacy you gave away for free to a guy who lived in his mom's basement.
Yeah.
No thanks.
It's a bad contract.
It really is. But what really fascinates me are the downstream effects of this. Because these women spent their youth overlooking the solid guys and demanding the top-tier guys act like servants, they eventually hit a wall where they look around and realize the dating pool has just dried up.
Which brings us to a psychological defense mechanism I like to call the custom order complex, and the whole illusion of slim pickings.
Oh man, there is a scenario that plays out in almost every major city that highlights this perfectly.
Paint the picture.
Okay, imagine a married woman and her single friend, both in their early 30s, sitting at an upscale bar. The married friend is looking around the room, taking stock of all these beautiful, well-dressed, seemingly put-together women who don't have wedding rings on. She's genuinely confused, and she asks her single friend, what is going on? Why is everyone here single?
Right.
And the single friend, desperate to save face, just sighs and says, it's just slim pickings out here. I don't know what's wrong with this batch of men, but it's rough.
Notice the phrasing there. This batch of men is a brilliant deflection of accountability. The single friend is experiencing intense internal panic, but she cannot admit that reality to her married friend, who has already secured the family and the stability.
Because if she told the truth,
she would have to admit a very painful economic reality. She'd have to say, I overpriced myself in the market, I chased biological thrills for a decade, I alienated the stable men who tried to pursue me, and now the high-value men I actually want are dating 24-year-olds.
She would have to admit the supply chain isn't broken and her purchasing power is just declining.
Exactly. So she blames the invisible batch of men. And this ties directly into the custom order complex. Modern dating has conditioned people to view human beings the way they view an Amazon shopping cart or a custom order at a sandwich shop.
Oh, 100%. I want a guy who is over 6 feet tall, makes at least $200K, has a full head of hair. But take off the controlling aspect, add a dash of emotional vulnerability, make sure he's a feminist. Oh, and I'd like a little less mayo on that.
It's a 50-point rubric. And if a man misses even one of those points, he is immediately discarded, returned to center.
But hold on, let me play devil's advocate again here.
Right.
Because I hear women argue this point constantly. They say, I've spent years working on myself, going to therapy, building my career. Shouldn't I have high standards? Why should a successful woman be expected to settle for a man who doesn't check all of her boxes?
Having standards is healthy. It's necessary for any successful relationship. No one is saying women shouldn't have standards.
Right.
The structural problem we are seeing in the data isn't that women have standards. It's that their checklists have become mutually exclusive. They're demanding behavioral paradigms.
Give me an example of that paradox.
The most common one involves the conflict between traditional gender roles and modern egalitarianism. So a woman will state that she wants a highly traditional masculine man. She wants him to lead, to protect her, to plan all the dates, to handle the heavy burdens, and to pay for everything, the classic provider role.
Right, the guy who handles business.
Right. But simultaneously, she completely refuses to occupy the role of a traditional cooperative woman. The second this traditional man asks her to follow his lead or expresses a boundary regarding her behavior, she morphs into a fiercely independent, modern feminist who demands 50-50 equality and insists he has no right to tell her what to do.
I see this constantly. It's the mindset of treat me and pay for me like it's 1950, but defer to my authority and independence like it's 2026.
It's an impossible contradiction. You cannot demand a man act like a traditional patriarch in his wallet, but a modern egalitarian in his authority.
That's a great way to put it.
It's like going to a car dealership and demanding a vehicle that has the towing capacity and bed space of a Ford F-150, but the size and fuel efficiency of a two-seat smart car. The engineering simply doesn't exist. They are pricing themselves out of the market by demanding a phantom.
And the tragic irony of all this is that men actually make it incredibly easy for women to succeed with them.
We really do.
Men are generally quite accommodating. If a woman is pleasant, brings peace, and is physically attractive to him, a man will move mountains to integrate her into his life. We don't require a 50-point rubric,
Not at all.
but women project their own hyper-complicated selection process onto men, which forces us to look at the other side of the coin. If women are lost in this labyrinth of contradictions, what is it that men actually want?
This is perhaps the greatest source of confusion in the entire modern dating market. You will see women genuinely perplexed, throwing their hands up on social media, asking the ether, what do men actually want? Do you want a pretty girl, a CEO, a girl with a master's degree, a girl who grinds 80 hours a week?
Right, they list off all their resume points.
And because they cannot fathom a reality where a man isn't motivated by the exact same status symbols that they are, they usually conclude with something deeply cynical like, I'm thinking you guys just want other men at this point.
That conclusion always blows my mind. They genuinely think if he doesn't care about my Ivy League degree and my girl boss energy, he must not like women. It is a wild misunderstanding of male psychology.
It goes back to what we said earlier about hypergamy. Because women seek status, resources, and social competence in men, they just assume men are seeking the female equivalent of those things.
Yeah.
But male and female attraction triggers are not symmetrical.
They aren't mirrors of each other.
Exactly. Men do not care about your job title. A man making $1 million a year does not care if you make $200,000 or $40,000 as long as you aren't bankrupting him.
Right.
The absolute unvarnished truth is that men are incredibly simple creatures, and we want one thing above all else.
Peace.
Peace.
Now, I know when women hear that word, they often bristle. They think, oh, so he just wants a submissive doormat who never speaks her mind and serves him hand and foot. We really need to deeply explore the psychology of what peace actually means to a man, because it has nothing to do with subjugation.
Not at all. To understand a man's desire for peace, you have to understand the male burden of performance.
Okay, let's get into that.
The world, for a man, is a hyper-competitive competency arena. From the moment he wakes up, his value is constantly being tested by his employer, his peers, his financial obligations, societal expectations. The world is incredibly loud, hostile, and utterly unforgiving to male failure.
Nobody cares about a man's struggles. They only care about his utility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are only as good as what you can provide. So when a man has spent 10 or 12 hours out in that arena, fighting those battles, taking on that stress, he needs a sanctuary.
Right.
Peace means that when he puts his key in the door of his own home, he can leave the noise outside. It means walking into a space and not being instantly confronted.
It's the absence of unnecessary friction. It's not being yelled at the millisecond you walk in because you left a coffee mug in the wrong room. It's a partner recognizing that you need 30 minutes to decompress in silence before diving into the household logistics.
It is the ability to just bask in silence without a partner interpreting that silence as a personal attack or as a sign that he doesn't love her anymore.
Right. Why are you being so quiet? What did I do?
Yes. And regarding the whole doormat argument, a man isn't saying a woman can never disagree with him or ask him to do chores. It's entirely about the emotional regulation and the delivery.
That is such a crucial distinction. It's amazing how many people don't realize you can actually have a disagreement without it escalating into an emotional crisis.
Right.
You can disagree without screaming, without talking over each other, without bringing up something you did 3 years ago. Men are not afraid of conflict. We navigate conflict all day long in the real world. We are just completely exhausted by endless, unproductive emotional drama in the one place we are supposed to be able to recharge.
Men naturally want to step into the role of protector and provider. It is deeply hardwired into us to want to take care of the people we love. But a man will absolutely refuse to provide for and protect a woman who acts like a combatant.
Wow.
If you are constantly chastising him, emasculating him, or treating him like an incompetent child who can't do anything right, you are destroying his peace. You are turning his sanctuary back into an arena.
And when a high-value man is faced with that choice, when he looks at the board and sees, on one side, a highly attractive, successful woman who brings constant chaos, endless demands, and zero peace. And on the other side, staying single, building his wealth, hanging out with his friends, and having total, uninterrupted peace and quiet in his own home.
He chooses peace.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep.
He looks at the required investment versus the emotional return, and he just opts out.
And this brings us right back to the massive blind spot we started with. Women cannot process why a man who checks all their boxes would actively choose to stay single rather than settle down with them. They write these endless think pieces about how men are afraid of commitment or intimidated by female success or just completely insecure.
But the truth, as we've seen through all these behavioral patterns today, is much simpler. Men aren't intimidated. They aren't insecure. They have simply evaluated the modern dating market, recognized a phenomenally bad deal, and they are exercising their ultimate power, the power to protect their peace, by walking away.
It's a profound shift in the social dynamic, and if you're a guy listening to this who has been feeling that pressure, feeling like there's something wrong with you because you don't want to play this chaotic game anymore, I want to leave you with this final thought. Next time you're sitting alone in your quiet apartment feeling the societal pressure that you should be out there chasing, performing, and jumping through hoops, ask yourself this. What if your ability to be perfectly content in your own silence isn't a dating flaw, but actually the ultimate superpower? What if the men who can't stand being alone are the ones actually losing the game?